Good afternoon, or good evening. No, it's still afternoon. Good afternoon. It's the 24th of June to 2019. Welcome to From the Crow's Nest. A beautiful Monday. Well, it hasn't been beautiful. It's been a bit overcast and a bit quite humid. But I've had some nice times. I've been sitting in the shade and having the wind blow over me and things like that. So that's been quite nice. So how is everyone? Let's get some light here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now you can see me better. How's that? Let's open the curtains. There we go. Look. Oh, bright. Okay. So how was everyone's weekend? I hope it was good. Ours was pretty quiet. I'm still recovering from being ill, as some of you know. So excuse me. Yeah. So we had a pretty quiet weekend. Spent most of it in the garden actually, which was nice. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about what's happening. So I've got my hot little hands on this new book published by Beachy Books. It's called The Mermaid is Unimpressed, and it's by Sandy Kilty. Sandy Kilty. So Sandy's originally from Kent, but has since moved to the island and has written this wonderful book of poetry. I haven't had time to sit down and read it yet, but I'm going to tonight, and I'll give my 5-minute, review of it in the coming days. Hopefully, we might even get a chance to have a chat to Sandy and at a later date. Oh, there goes my phone. One day I've got to remember to turn the sound off. Digging away in my pocket there. So, what are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about St. John's Day. What's St. John's Day? Well, it's the feast of St. John the Baptist, and it's synonymous with the feast of St. John, and it's synonymous with I guess the this time of year, and my brain's gone completely blank. Sorry. The solstice and summer and all that sort of stuff. So it's one of those festivals that is embedded in both Christian and pagan and all our memories, our collective memories from this mishmash of religions. But and each area seems to have their own way of celebrating. There's burning of pyres, there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's a strange little quirk when it comes to the Isle of Wight, and something that is kind of really been completely forgotten now, but it's one of those things that I'm not sure was entirely celebrated, but more a memory thing. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the Isle of Wight. Let's talk about the invasions of the French, and this will all become clear very soon. I'm just keeping an eye on the time here. Let's talk about the Russells, and I'll bring it all together for you. So the Russells were the wardens of the island, and they had a great manor house at Yaverland, basically Yaverland Manor, which is still there now, and the wardship was kind of passed on from the Russells onto the Gorges and so forth. Anyway, so the Russell that we're most interested in, and where this story will start to unfold is Theobald. So Theobald Russell. But let's go back a little bit and talk about his father, William. So William Russell. So William inherited Yaverland Manor through marriage, and he died before his son Theobald was of age, and so Theobald, the wardship or the stewardship, was given to although Theobald was would become the warden of the island, it was I guess held in trust with the Gorges family of Arreton. Anyway, so fast forward a little bit and let's to Theobald. So Theobald is one of the great heroes of the island. During the French invasion of 1340, 1341, it's not precise. He went and repelled the French from coming into repelled the French from St. Helens and from destroying Brading. However, it seems that the French got in and actually destroyed Wolverton, which is the mysterious lost village that we've spoken about many, many times. And this is where it all comes together with St. John the Baptist, the Feast of St. John the Baptist. So the story goes that the town of Wolverton was destroyed. And as it was laying in ruins and burning, the people of Yaverland, who didn't have their own church, decided that they could see the church burning, and because this all happened, you guessed it, on the feast of St. John, they prayed to St. John the Baptist to help them pick up the church from Wolverton and take it to Yaverland. And as they prayed, the saint interceded and made the church as light as a feather. And the people picked it up and took it to Yaverland, to its now final resting place, where it was then reconsecrated to St. John the Baptist and dedicated to St. John the Baptist. How much of that story is true? Well, what we do know is that the church the church St. John the Baptist in Yaverland didn't turn up. It just came out of nowhere in the mid-14th century. What we do know also is that the architecture is much older than that. It is some of it is Norman. There may even be some Anglo-Saxon there. So that fits with the idea that this was a much older church. So if we cut through the folklore and so forth, and we look at it, we can probably safely say that there goes our friend the train. We can probably safely say that the people of Wolverton, or the people of Yaverland, look at that way. I've got to get these fixed, don't I? The people of Yaverland did basically dismantle the church and brought it up and rebuilt it in Yaverland from Wolverton. We know there is a Roman archway, a Norman archway, which predates when this church appeared. We know there was no church there because the people often complained. The Russells had a chapel, but it was a private chapel. So there we have it. And that is the connection between St. John the Baptist, the Feast of St. John, Wolverton, and the church at Yaverland. The whole story is much more interesting. There's lots of saints and there's lots of angels and demons and magical wells and all sorts of stuff. And I've talked about this a lot, and as you know, I'm quite obsessed. But I thought it was kind of apt for today. And lastly, I'm going to tell a little story. And this little story here is not to do with the Isle of Wight. It's actually to do with Kent, where I used to live in Kent. And I've recounted the story of my experience at Kit's Cotty. But there's another place nearby called the Uncountable Stones, or Little Kit's Cotty, which is the remains of a long barrow, just as Kit's Cotty was, or Kit's Cotty House. And legend says that if you can count the stones, the devil will appear and have to do your bidding. But as you count them, things change and you can never actually do it. One person did. The devil appeared, but the devil was able to trick him. And every wish that he made of the devil turned out against him. So here's my experience at the Uncountable Stones. About 20 years ago, maybe less, maybe 15 years ago. It was... I want to say an autumn day, but maybe late summer or evening, night. It was in the night. I know it wasn't freezing cold. I went there just on a whim, on my own. And when I got there were people there. And it's not uncommon for people to go there at night. People just wanting to experience the place, and people holding religious ceremonies and so forth. And there were some people there, and they were performing a religious ceremony. And I asked if it was okay if I could stay. And they said yes, it's fine. It's, you know. And I sat quietly as they performed what seemed to be maybe a harvest type blessing or thank you. So it must have been quite late in summer or early autumn. And that probably went on for about an hour. And then the party started to disband, and we all said our goodbyes, and I thanked them for allowing me to witness it. It was beautiful. There was singing and chanting and bells and lighted torches, and something they did with a sword, which was interesting and terrifying and beautiful all at the same time. And I had just an absolutely wonderful time. So off they went, and I stayed there for probably another hour, just sitting there meditating and just thinking about the stones. And I noticed an eerie green glow. So I sort of went over there and had a look, and there I found glowworms. And there were glowworms between the stones. I've never seen them before, and they were beautiful and surprising. And just there, and I tried to capture it. I tried to take photos of it, but I didn't have the right phone, the right camera, and it was. So the only record I have is up here. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So I watched them for a while and noticed them sort of dimming out. So I went back, and it was still a very warm night. And by now it was probably 2 a.m. I suspect. I don't know. I didn't have a watch. And I sat back with my back against one of the stones and just sitting there and relaxing. I had my hat on. Sort of just pulled it down over my nose and meditating, and just I guess I found myself falling off to sleep. And I had these dreams, these vivid, frightening dreams of, and I say they were vivid, but I can't tell you what they were of. Just a feeling of black and and things were happening that I cannot explain in the dream. I cannot tell you exactly what the dreams were about because I don't remember. It was such a vivid experience. Colours and the dark colours, dark blues, blacks, deep reds. And then I heard this noise. A noise that I've never heard, and then it was like a deep guttural scream, deep and curdling, and then a bang, and it felt like my head exploded, and I sat bolt upright, right, and looked around me. And as I looked around, it was like I saw geometric shapes in front of me. Everything was, I can't explain it. I could see the outlines of things from the darkness, but it was like zigzag shapes were in front of my eyes, and when I closed my eyes I just saw geometric patterns, octagons, dodecahedrons, the 3D geometric shapes, some 2D, some 3D, and colours, and it was just incredible but also terrifying, and I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't stand up, and I kind of got on all fours and crouched down and closed my eyes and just held onto the ground. And when I did that, I heard the sound again, and I opened my eyes, and then everything stopped, and my heart was throbbing, and my head was pounding, and I legged it straight back to the car and went home. And that was my weird experience. So anyone that has any insights into what happened, let me know, because I have no idea. Anyway, thank you very much. We're already, we're at 17 minutes. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week. Got a lot going on this week. Got lots to talk about. If you have anything that you want to tell me, please do DM me. If you like this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a great week, and I hope you had a great weekend. Bye bye.